daily energy. All right, today we're going to read the Akash. I'm feeling the need to read the Akash, so we're going to do pop-up readings. Clear the field. Clear the field 3 feet in all directions. 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, 25, 30, 32, 38. All right, so the first thing I'm picking up on is like an Ace of Swords energy. And it's bringing me to alignment, and it's showing me Archangel Michael's sword, and it's showing me the alignment of truth and how to speak that truth. And it's see it specifically of how to speak that truth. Alignment isn't easy when our people-pleasing comes up, when our inner emotions come up, when our inner abandonment wounds come up. And sometimes these are very subconscious and very subtle, and they're not always seen. So sometimes we struggle to bring forward our truth, speaking our truth, speaking our feelings in the face of injustice when we are worried about failure, loss, rejection. And it's bringing up the space of misalignment. I hear the consistency has shifted. The consistency has shifted. I hear there's a better movement. I see Lady Mother Hecate. I see Mother Lilith. I see a rhinoceros. Interesting. We're going to do some symbols. I see a 3-horn. I see a bobber. There's this big energy of watching your own bobber. Allowing yourself to be seen in a specific light. I hear a fragment in the frequency. There's a subconscious pattern that's coming here to be rewritten. It's coming deep into the womb space and the core of the root chakra. And how we are unwinding and rewinding. I hear a message for the light workers. Suhrutukoto utukunaa ea siae kia sia kiana usurotoyae ia tiase usorokoto untunana. There's a space of diplomacy that's taking place, and I see this Ace of Swords energy again, really allowing yourself to speak your truth without limitation, but without judgment either. So not a cruel tongue, but in a space of this is how I feel and this is the injustice that I'm witnessing. There's a big energy of standing in your truth, standing in your truth, standing in your chosen alignment. Tiase oroto ya okona esiatiase usuturu kutu unanayati. I hear there's independent virtue. There's a alignment taking place within the energy field. I'm seeing the heart space and the solar plexus. There's a space of owning your power, stepping into your power, stepping into your, I hear that again, diplomacy. And allowing yourself to step through the injustice to receive that which you truly deserve. What is this injustice? Interesting. I hear a pragmatic view, problematic view. When we are going through our shifting process, when we are going through our healing process, a lot of times we're looking through trauma lenses. And until we shift our identity and shift the story within the subconscious, we're seeing that pattern as our reality. That's how the subconscious plays its way. Yesterday we were talking about the subconscious being the hard drive of our computer. It's the same concept. When our subconscious is driving the ship, when we're not working with rewriting the subconscious, those are the patterns that we're seeing. That's what normal is. So when we work with somebody who has really deep trauma, or again, yesterday we talked about Stockholm syndrome, it becomes normal because that's programmed into the subconscious. It becomes normal to deal with certain types of abuse or being talked to a certain way, certain types of communication, certain types of friendships, certain types of illegitimate friendships, interesting, and injustices. And there's a space where we're seeing the injustice and allowing ourselves to feel the vulnerability and also feel the space of like, it is valid that this was unjust. Interesting. It is valid that this is unjust. And it's interesting that yesterday the Hathors brought forward the message about the Stockholm syndrome, and today we're talking about this injustice. So where are you feeling this within your space, and how are you rewriting the subconscious to bring in, I hear the valid, interesting, the Venetian. There's a space of inconsistency that's shifting. It's going to be really, really important to stay consistent with that, what you're working towards. When we're reprogramming our subconscious, it comes a point where we're like, I've done enough. But that's right where the borderline of shifting is. That's right where the borderline of changing is. When we're changing our identity, when we're healing from one certain lifestyle to integrate a new one, to claim wealth, we'll bring it to wealth, or a new relationship. When we are in that space of consistency, that's what brings the brain into a space of, okay, this is my new normal. This is how I'm living. This is the new energy that I'm living in. So it's really important to allow yourself or bring forward a discipline to bring forward that space of consistency. This is what brings it into identity shift. Once the identity shifts and you're living in that space of what you've been creating, that's when the life starts to change around you. That's when manifestation really comes forward. When we're programming our subconscious, it has to be programmed in the spaces of the theta frequency. When it's programming and programming and programming, when we're putting in our own ideas, our new thoughts, things that we want to create in our life, all of our old mindsets, belief systems, trauma responses, the way we see things has to shift in order for us to integrate a new now reality, in order for us to integrate a new manifestation, right? When we're going through this manifestation process, we can't just put healing on top of it. We can't just put affirmations on top of it. This isn't filling our cup. That's only like creating toxic positivity. So when we're shifting through like Stockholm syndrome, or living in severe poverty, or living in some sort of abuse, or some sort of mental struggle, it's really important to be vulnerable with yourself, be realistic with yourself, and also hold yourself accountable of how we are living in this energy of creation and how we are allowing ourselves to receive those types of abuse, toxicities, lower frequencies that we're no longer choosing to live in. When we're working through an identity shift, we have to see it as it is, shift the mental pattern, and then reprogram those new ideas, reprogram those new thoughts, reprogram those new identities. I hear this a lot with manifestation of money, right? What would your millionaire self do? What would your millionaire self do? And for a while, you have to live in that space of what would she do? What would he do? And then it comes to a space where it's like, wait a second, she already does those things. I am a millionaire self, right? That's that identity shift that brings that into things. And then the universe shifts around you. It's very, very beautiful. It's bringing it to this space of I hear toxic traits of Stockholm syndrome. That's interesting that's the toxic trait. Interesting. The toxic trait for the weak. The energy of creation deludes. It's diluted by those places where we accept less than we deserve. Where are we limiting ourselves? There's some sort of persuasion. I'm looking at the 7 of Swords. There's a space where we're wanting to protect ourselves, but it's like this little part of ourselves hiding in the darkness. There's a space of going within. It's interesting. I was listening to a marketing guru yesterday, and he said it's not about the marketing, it's about the shift within yourself to be that being, to be that person. So what sort of identity shift are you working through? And how can you bring yourself into a space of choosing a higher path, or choosing a new thought pattern, or choosing a new experience? Really beautiful. Okay, that's all we have for today. I hope you guys have a beautiful and amazing day, and we will see you soon. Much love.